Welcome to the training video for the DLS hosted PBX version 5.0. I'm Steve and I'll be your guide through today's video. Topics for the 5.0 training video include queues, faxing, conferencing, voicemail, reports, handsets, call routing, configuration, LDAP, multi-tenant, and predictive dialer. Chapter 1. Queues. There are several new options for queues. Preemptive agent mode keeps the agent on a live call and queue callers are connected to their channel. Report hold time to agent will report how long the caller was on hold. Wait for previous caller to connect ensures that the caller in position 1 is connected to an agent before trying any other callers. And periodic announcement will inject a recording or recordings into the music on hold at the specified interval. There are also several new queue-related reports. Queue Performance Detail Report shows summary statistics for each agent in a queue. The Queue Call Volume Report shows a graph of queue statistics over time. The Queue Service Level Report provides data and graphs detailing how quickly calls are handled. And the Agent Performance Detail Report shows statistics for agents across all queues. Chapter 2. Fax. The fax system has been overhauled with a new fax engine, new document conversion software, T.38 support, and more. The fax detail report now shows information about failed calls and has a button to download a copy of the fax if it was archived. Digium Fax for Asterisk software is commercially licensed but provides one free channel. If you wish to send or receive additional simultaneous faxes, you should purchase additional licenses. If all licenses are in use, outbound faxes will be queued for later, and inbound faxes will receive a congestion tone. 33 new file type conversions, including DocX, XLSX, PPTX, and OpenOffice formats, are now supported. There's now an option to specify paper size and custom dithering on the web app. And for email to fax, you can now carbon copy multiple recipients. In user settings, a copy of the fax can now be attached to email notifications. A copy of the fax can be archived. Notifications, attachments, and archival can be set for successful and failed faxes. Legal paper size is now supported. You can choose how long to save your fax archives. And a custom header can be created for fax-related email notifications. For specific user settings, the outbound fax context, outbound fax caller ID, and inbound fax file format can now be set at the user level. Fax detection can be enabled on user extensions. And ATA devices can be configured for T.38 support, which improves fax over IP reliability. In system call routing, fax detection can be enabled or disabled on a call path, and calls can be immediately routed to a group or user fax. Chapter 3. Conferencing. New conferencing software adds support for internal video conferencing in addition to other improved functionality. Conference recording can now be done on a per-session basis rather than a per-user basis. There is a background noise filter option. Multiple new options are available to control notification and admin behavior. You can now choose to play music on hold while waiting for callers or admins. The conference web app has been updated and now has a function for locking and unlocking conferences. In system call routing, you can now direct a caller into a specific conference. Conference rooms can be monitored via the flash panels. Conference session report shows the duration and participants for each session of a conference. Outbound calls can be converted to an on-the-fly conference using the OTF feature code. Inbound calls cannot currently use this feature. Chapter 4. Voicemail. Messages listened to through the web interface or handset will now be marked as read. The web interface now allows you to move messages between folders or forward them to another user. In System Basic, you can choose a maximum voicemail message length. Auto-archival and deletion can be configured for users who only want to receive their voicemail via email. And voicemail recording instructions can be disabled. In User Preferences, an optional voicemail notification email address can be specified to override the default email address for that user. A user-specific auto-archive and auto-delete timer can be defined. And users can choose between voicemail greetings. In Apps User Recordings, users can create recordings that can be used and reused as custom voicemail greetings. In call routing, you can now create a rule to route to the main voicemail system instead of including the feature branch in your inbound routing. Access to the main voicemail system is now automatic for outbound callers. Chapter 5. Reports. Reports now have a QuickTime selection button if you want to use a date range instead of choosing the start and end date. Report templates can be created to save reports that are going to be run in the future. To create a template, choose New Template, enter a template name, choose a report and template date range, and choose Save Template. To use a template, choose the template name and select Generate Report. To share a template with another user, click the link icon next to the template. In Reports Scheduling, you can schedule reports that have templates to be emailed to you in HTML or CSV format. In System Settings, you can set the default time span for reports as appropriate for your organization. There is also an option to exclude unanswered calls from queue reports. In call reports, there is a call volume graph, which graphs call volumes over time. The Summary Report of Groups shows summary information about groups and details about their members. In Detail Report, there is a call type indicator on each call that provides more information when moused over, and mousing over the call source will provide caller name information if available. Chapter 6. Handsets. Automated provisioning support has been added for the Bria 3 softphone, the Polycom VVX sidecar, and the Cisco 7945 handset. Visual voicemail on supported handsets allows you to browse your voicemail on your handset screen, play or delete specific messages, or move messages between folders. The phone book on the flash panel is now activated. Under Status Provisioning, this page provides consolidated information about the provisioning status of handsets. Chapter 7. Call Routing. In System Office Hours, office hour rules now have an optional year field. Under System Blacklists, blacklists can be defined for mass blocking of incoming or outgoing numbers. Include them in the appropriate call routing branch. Under Users Follow Me can now ring multiple destinations at the same time and can be enabled for multiple time periods. Under System Features, there is now a feature code for toggling Follow Me. An XML app is also available. Call camping lets a caller wait on hold until the target user is available. Calls can be camped by transferring them to the user's camping extension as defined by the camping prefix. Under User Preferences Call Routing, incoming caller ID can be blocked on a per-user basis. An incoming routing mode lets you choose between call handling modes. Standard mode uses the default behavior. Follow Me uses the user-defined Follow Me rules. Call camping mode sends all calls to camp. And call screening lets the user manage their calls with voice prompts. User preferences for call screening can also be updated via the web interface. Call routing include options have been simplified and are grouped by routing branches, system functions, user groups, and blacklists. Chapter 8: Configuration Changes. Under Apps Contacts, admins can now manage user BLF keys without logging in as that user. Under User Preferences, Time Zone has been expanded to include most time zones in the Americas and Europe. If you have a location in another time zone, please notify us so we can add it. Emergency calling setup has been simplified. Choose the nomadic enabled number that you want to use for emergency caller ID instead of creating and specifying an emergency profile. Under System Snapshots, snapshots can now have descriptions, and snapshots will now back up and restore system recordings in addition to music on hold. Chapter 9: LDAP. Under System LDAP, you can bind your PBX to your corporate LDAP server, which provides with several new management options. In User Preferences LDAP options, users can be tied to LDAP on a per-user basis instead of importing them. User LDAP authentication changes the user web login to use the LDAP password instead of the specified web password. And user directories can be queried from LDAP instead of the PBX. Chapter 10: Multi-Tenant. Additional tenants can be added to your PBX, which is useful for isolating call routing. Creating tenants also allows each tenant group to use the same extension number ranges. Each tenant can share the system settings or activate a tenant-specific set of system settings. Each tenant can also share or have custom feature codes. one-touch recording and on-the-fly conference codes cannot be overridden. Each tenant must upload their own handset logos if they wish to use them. If tenants are defined on the system, the tenant field will be active on user preferences. Devices now register with the handset auth ID. For existing users, the auth ID will be the same as the extension number. For new users, an auth ID will be randomly generated, but it can be manually specified as long as it is unique on the entire system. Chapter 11. Predictive Dialer. Several changes have been made to keep the dialer compliant with telemarketing and robodialing laws. Use the preemptive agent mode on your queues for cold calling to reduce agent connection times. Abandoned calls will automatically adjust the dialing ratio down from the specified ratio to keep abandonment rates under 3%. The time zone of campaign targets is checked before dialing to ensure compliance with allowed calling times. There are multiple new and improved reports for the Predictive Dialer. This concludes the DLS hosted PBX version 5.0 upgrade training video. We hope that this video was useful for you, and thank you for your continued patronage.